Well, hello and welcome. You're probably wondering what's going on. I am moving out of the Volvo that I have been staying in for the last 6 days while my van has been getting some necessary work done. And well, the van is ready for pickup and it's time for me to go and switch out vehicles. But I thought I would just go ahead and leave my stuff right here so I don't have to worry about moving it when I get to the mechanics. I'm hoping it will be okay here. This is my own little campsite, so I'm not too worried. I put a little blockade up so no one will at least drive into it. But yeah, I'm a little concerned about mice possibly getting into the food or even a bear because, you know, it's getting close to that time of year where they're filling up their bellies for their winter sleep. But yeah, more so people because this is a tourist attraction where I live, so there's a lot of people around. But I'm not too worried about people aspect because there's also cameras everywhere around here, so I'd very easily be able to figure out which vehicle and all that type of stuff and track it all down. Anyways, we're not even gonna go there. But yeah, it is time for me to start getting out of here. I'm so excited. I'm picking up my home. I figure seeing as we're going into the big city, I'll take the laundry and get that done. I'm going to take the Volvo in and give it a vacuum before I drop it off. And I'm bringing my Jackery along so I can charge it while I'm driving. I'm also thinking that just maybe I should go ahead and give this a bath as well. It's a little dusty from the gravel roads. I ran out of change to do a vacuum, but luckily they had this in the car, so I'll just sweep it clean. It's not that bad in here. Well, thank you for giving me a place to sleep. You're a good card to me. And thank you to Babes Automotive for all that you did. You rocked. Oh, it's pretty empty. And that's the lovely mess I get to deal with. But honestly, it's worth it. I am so happy to have my van back. It apparently is all tickety-boo. I have a 90-day warranty on my transmission. And yeah, if I have any issues, I'm just supposed to give them a call. And well, sexy's back, and well, there's been some pretty nice eye candy wandering around here. Way to go, Lars. Anyways, let's start them up and head on out of here. Ooh, nice. And look at that dash. There's no engine light on. We're almost caught to 200,000 K. That is incredible. And, well, I got enough to get me to Nelson and gas. He sounds so different. Like, almost new again. Pretty much I have a new van. Decided to treat myself to some pizza from the Hume. Num num. Well, we talk about the bill. And one of my favorite places is the Hume in Nelson. They make a great pizza. I usually go for the ultimate, which is got some capicoli and big pieces of prawns in it. So it's a nice little zip, but not too spicy hot. So this is just kind of telling you what had happened. The engine oil filter housing was replaced. They found fuel in the number 3 injector. So they ended up replacing all 6 injectors, as well as spark plugs and coil boots. And then when they took it out for the test drive, it's when they realized the transmission failure had happened, which of course happened the night before when I was driving it. So just for those checks was $204. And flip the page over. So engine oil cooler was $1,317. The maintenance service for oil came to $52.80. And then you have the fuel injectors. That total was $548. And then you have the transmission. And that baby came to $3,555. Then you also have a wheel alignment that was done that I did not get done for free as I thought I did. It cost $159, which leaves us a grand total of $6,614.90. And you can't forget about the pineapple. I know. What am I doing on an ATV adventure when I should be putting my home back together? Well, that's simple. I was invited last minute and thought I really haven't been able to do anything fun this summer, all because of my van. So the mess can wait. There's some beauty I need to capture. Good morning, and I can sit up. Trust me, this makes me so happy. I tell you, it's the simple pleasures. I really enjoyed my time last night and very happy that I went ahead and just did it instead of going, oh, no, what, I really should put together the van and get all ready before bed. And nope. So yeah, all I ended up doing when I got back was making sure I brought the food into my van so it'd be less likely for mice to get into it. And yeah, just went to bed. That was it. So yeah, when I was moving some of that stuff into the Volvo, I left some things unsecure in here. I was a little worried when they were doing the test driving, going, I don't want anything to shift on them because it can be a little freaky when you're not prepared for things to go rattling around. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put everything down low and just pile it up right there and deal with it later. And, well, now it's time to deal with it. And, well, it's just a little upside down, inside out. Well, I dealt with it. Then I took off to the store, and as soon as I pulled in to the parking lot, I hear ding, and it's my check engine light. It's back on again. Of course, my heart just sunk. I just spent all that money and I'm still got issues going on. And I'm thinking the worst case scenario, it's my solenoid or my oil pump. And that's like a $2,500 job. Yeah. Anyways, I called and set up the appointment so they could take a look at the check engine light. But I still had another 6 days till I could do so. And when I was driving back home, every time I'd brake, I would hear this knocking. And throughout the week, it just got worse and worse and worse. And all I was doing was just driving around Sandon. I was pretty scared to go anywhere, to be honest with you. Before I had decided to go on my appointment, like I said, getting very concerned about this knocking, I asked my brother-in-law and his mechanic friend who's been working here if he could take a look at it before I do this drive down. Because it's like an hour and 20 minutes away from here, so it's not that close. So they lifted up my front end and took a boo, and you know, everything seemed to be fine. Nothing seemed to be loose, but they were noticing that the engine was moving quite a bit when they were yanking and pulling on stuff. So obviously something's not secure. So they opened up my hood and, well, there was some noticeable things.
Just noticing these battery connections are loose. These were not tight. There's some cover missing here on top of the engine. And it's got some noise, some clunk, either engine mount, transmission mount, control arm, or something's loose under there, clunking back and forth.
So we just able to pull out this piece right here. So that wasn't put together either.
I don't know where that belongs, but I was just down in there, sitting in there like that.
I was not too impressed with that either, but I was just assured that I would be safe to drive to Babe's Automotive. But also at this point, I had decided to ask my brother-in-law, because I knew he was heading down there that morning, if he could possibly come with me into Babe's Automotive. Because I really feel that I am being taken advantage of, being a female. And I just wanted that male presence to be there with me while I had talked about this issue and so on and so forth. That's really, really sad that I even have to do that or even feel that way. But anyways, my brother-in-law said, yeah, by all means, I'll do that. So we went down the next morning, and I had said I would like to talk to the owner. And the owner came out, and I had told him, and he was mouth just dropped right down. He's like, wow, that is so not us. And I didn't think that's who they were anyways. They seemed like a really top-notch company. So a couple people were getting some talkings to, and one of the guys happened to be sitting right there. So yeah, I'm not sure how those conversations transpired, but yes, they ended up doing a very thorough check, not once but twice, over my van. My engine cover was just sitting there in the shop. We had already tightened up the battery, so there was no need for that. And the issue with the knocking was my heating shield was not attached properly. So yeah, so they went through all of that. And then they went ahead and checked the check engine light, because it did end up coming back on. And it turned out to just be the thermostat. So unfortunately, I did have to pay a little extra money, which I'm not too pleased about, because technically they should have just swallowed up that, $236. But they did not, and therefore that actually changes my opinion of the company themselves. So they are not somebody that I would recommend or utilize in the future, though I am grateful for them finding the problem and all that type of stuff and solving that issue and whatever else. But yeah, that ending just kind of made me a little bit better with them still. But anyways, it has been a full week and a day or two, and the check engine light has not come back on. Lars is driving like a dream, and I think those worries are over. I have a couple tires that I have ordered from my front end for the winter time, and we're going to get my brakes and stuff checked out at that point. This is with a different mechanic, the one who I really wanted to do all the work in the first place. Unfortunately, he just couldn't, because if it was the job that we were talking about, that solenoid or oil pump, he could not do it, not on his own, and he was very straightforward about that. And it's really sad, because he could have actually done a fair bit of the work on my van, minus the transmission. But anyways, it is what it is. He's getting the last little bit. And yes, I am looking forward to my fall to winter travels. So yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you very much for watching this whole van series of mine. Or even if you're new here and just jumped in, yeah, you go back and watch some of these videos. It's been a very long 3 months. Anyways, till next time, you take care of yourself. Bye-bye.